So the NBA is in a very different time as all the players are in the bubble in Orlando and they can't leave or else they're going to be quarantined for 2 weeks. I mean, I can only imagine if Kawhi Leonard had some emergency outside the bubble and the Clippers were in the middle of the conference finals against the Los Angeles Lakers. It would be a very different and weird scenario if Kawhi Leonard couldn't play because he had to quarantine. But in this bubble, the players have to find some ways to entertain themselves, as the normal ways that they entertain themselves on a daily basis will not be working for them in the bubble, as they cannot leave unless they want to undergo that procedure that I talked about moments ago. But before we get started with this video, if you enjoy what you see from this channel, hit that subscribe button and that bell for post notifications. If you like the video, drop a like and comment your opinions down below in the comment section. But without further ado, this is David from NBA Knowledge, and let's talk about some of the stuff that the players are going through in the bubble. The first player that I want to talk about is J.R. Smith. Apparently, J.R. Smith has a love-hate relationship with the hotel accommodations. J.R. Smith isn't really a fan of the blanket that he was given in his hotel room, but he did enjoy his selection of food. He posted a video about it on his Instagram that I'm about to show you guys shortly, but I think it's a pretty funny video if you guys know JR, the hen god himself. This is a guy that doesn't put up with bullshit, and I actually enjoyed his reaction because it was pretty genuine, you could tell. Another player that we are going to talk about is Jimmy Buckets, because a lot of people enjoy Jimmy Buckets. Shout out to him and TJ Warren for having the greatest rivalry in the bubble that we all know they're going to have. Hopefully they live up to that and don't make my words look goofy, but regardless, there were some complaints about Jimmy Butler dribbling a ball in a room above somebody, and then they went up there, obviously they saw him dribbling, and apparently according to Jimmy, no matter where he is, he's got to train, he's got to get better. And shout out to him, because I really just wanted to point this situation out, because this bubble is really going to test a lot of these players and their mental fortitude, and to see where they're at if they don't have those outside things to help them get through the basketball game, if they use those things to cope with their abilities to play on the court. But without further ado, let's move on to the next player. The next player that we do have is Paul George. For those who do not know, Paul George is a fisherman. Yes, PG loves to fish. I believe it was one of the many things that he wanted to stay in Oklahoma City for. And yeah, this guy was fishing in Orlando. It's pretty cool. He was there with Reggie Jackson in the picture. And I'm going to put the picture on the screen right about now. It's a pretty cool picture, you know what I'm saying? But it looks like he's enjoying his time there, doing what he loves to do best. But the next player that we do have is JaVale McGee. For those who do not know, JaVale McGee has a YouTube channel, and on that YouTube channel, he was posting about the things that they got in their hotel room. He also was posting some of the practices, you know, doing a little bit of some vlogs. And I actually recommend that for some players that do want to do some stuff with their YouTube channel. I know Victor Oladipo has one, Kevin Durant has a YouTube. I'm sure almost every single basketball player that's of star quality has a YouTube in some way, or they interact with the app anyways. So if you want to expand your brand, vlogging in the bubble doesn't really seem like the worst thing to be doing. But last but not least, we have Lou Williams. Now, the Lou Williams situation, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I really don't know the ins and outs. Obviously, he left and then came back and had to quarantine, and there was a whole thing on if he went to strip clubs. Honestly, I really don't care where he went. At the end of the day, you should not be leaving the bubble unless you actually have to, because you're not only putting your own health at risk, but you're putting the health of everybody else at risk. So you might as well, because you're not only doing damage to yourself, but you're doing damage to your teammates, as they're not going to have you for a whole 2 weeks. And for a guy like Lou Williams, who the Clippers need his offense because of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, primarily Paul George being injury prone, they're going to need his consistent offensive play if that situation ever were to rise up. And they need the whole entire team to play together as many times as they can before the playoffs, so they can build that chemistry that they obviously needed to be built in the regular season, because a lot of the times the team wasn't fully intact, and they need Lou Will, because that dynamic is not going to be the same when Shamet is getting a whole bunch of minutes, or other players on the roster down the bench such as Reggie Jackson, when those minutes originally would go to Lou Will. So regardless, end of the day, man, just stay in the bubble, do what you gotta do there. I don't know what the female situation is in the bubble, but if there are some females for these dudes, hey, you entertain yourself. You do what you gotta do to make it out every single day. And I actually like how the bubble is set up into where the players are watching the other players. Like you can see Russell Westbrook on the sidelines or James Harden on the sidelines watching the Lakers play like the Nets or some shit. That's pretty cool. You know, so you can have some players talking shit on the sidelines, cheering. It'd be pretty cool to see some of the players' reactions to some of the playoff games. I'm actually very interested for that. But that concludes this video, you guys. This is just, you know, a little bit of a recap of what some of these players are probably doing in the bubble. I couldn't get everything that they're all doing, but I got a good amount of it. This is your boy David from NBA Knowledge signing out. Y'all have a great day. Stay safe. Peace.